Guys, Tate with Banner for Believers. Make sure you check out part 1 of this interview at the link above and get ready for part 2 coming up.
Are trying to make a living as well, right?
Right, and that's also the big issue. So there are so many misconceptions about um, porn and how we get paid and how much we get paid. They think I'm getting $5,000 a scene, and I'm working, you know, 5 days a week, and I'm getting $50,000 checks from Pornhub, and that's, and I'm getting royalties. That's not how it works. You're getting one check. You get a check when you perform, and it's not 5 grand. It's not anywhere close to 5 grand, and you don't get any royalties once you get paid. It doesn't matter how many times your scene sells. You don't make anything else from that. And if your video is uploaded to a tube site, you don't get any money from that either. Now, I will say they did uh, put together a program not too long ago where, if I upload my own video there, then I could get some ad revenue, kind of like how YouTube is. But I'm essentially making pennies while they're making, millions, billions off of a video that is going to be uploaded by a fan anyway if I don't upload it. So we're kind of being forced to use their program, because otherwise some fans just going to upload it and then we don't get anything. But people will be like, oh, but you have this many views. Okay, well, those views don't matter because I'm not making any money from that, because I don't upload my videos for free. So, it doesn't matter if we have a million views on Pornhub. If I'm not actively uploading my videos there, if the studio uploads it, if a fan uploads it, we don't get anything from that. So that's why we're like, please buy your scenes, especially, from the websites, and from us, because that's how we're getting paid. And you have to remember, if nobody's buying scenes from the studios, nobody's buying scenes from the websites, the studios aren't making money. So then the studios can't pay the actors. And then the actors can't afford to perform. So, it's really been rough. And there was a new bill passed in California. I can't remember the name right now, but they're now taking a huge amount of taxes from us with each check. So now it's hard to afford to work, because we also have to pay for our own testing, which is about $200. We do that every 2 weeks. I have to pay for hair. I have to pay for nails. I have to pay for waxing. At the end of the day, we're not making that much. So it's not like we're being greedy, money hungry, people. We are just trying to survive and give you what you want, because people are consuming what we're making. They just don't want to pay for it, which is stealing.
Well, there was I'm in the heart of Texas, and there was actually a recent article in Texas Monthly that came out here probably a few months ago, but it actually stated.
Well, while you're looking for it, I'd also like to point out that, a lot of people are out of work right now, and it's the same for the people in the adult industry.
Yes.
We occasionally close down to keep our performers safe, and right now the industry is shut down. There is a production hold, and so nobody can film porn right now. So it's not like we're all making money, while you are out of work.
I don't think
We're
we're running out of porn though. I think since the 80s, I don't know when porn actually started. It's been around for a long time. I think it's one of the oldest professions probably in prostitution, porn. Do you consider it as
Sure.
prostitution or
No, it's a separate field. I wouldn't insult full service sex workers by claiming I do the same thing that they do or understand their experience.
uh,
My point was is that there are people who assume that we're all making bank still,
right?
but because of this virus, actually, porn performers are out of work as well.
Is it like a ghost town in Vegas right now?
It is. It's really eerie. It's really weird.
All the lights are on, but no.
Some of the lights are shut down actually, so it's not as bright and definitely not as crowded.
Is your church going to be holding online services, or are they going to still be meeting? Do you know?
I think they mentioned that they were going to be holding online services.
That Texas is first they did a big survey and found out kind of all the 7 deadly sins and all the advices and excesses, and Texas ranked number 1 in lust. They lead the nation in internet porn, scoring highest in Google indexed search interest for Triple X Entertainment. So this is red state conservative fundamentalist
Yeah.
Christian.
Yeah, none of us are surprised to hear that. It's pretty much always found that the Bible Belt has the highest rate of porn viewership of anywhere in the country. And there's even a joke amongst full service sex workers, they talk about when the politicians are in town, everybody goes to the Republican hotels looking for work.
Well, I think, and there, we don't know what the correlation is. We don't know why. I don't know if just people aren't putting out enough here in Texas. I don't know what it is. There's a stigma around sex, I think, in Christianity. Number
Sure.
one, that probably is our fault, our Christians' fault, as far as sex is concerned. And so I think people feel shamed and they hide this.
Oh yeah.
There's statistics that actually say over 40 million Americans are regular visitors to porn sites. The average visit lasts 6 minutes. Go figure. There are around 42 million porn websites, which total around 370 million pages of porn. The porn industry's annual revenue is more than the NFL, NBA, and Major League Baseball combined. It is also more than the combined revenues of ABC, CBS, and NBC. That's 70% of Christian youth pastors report they have had at least one teen coming up to them dealing with pornography. Now, I guess you're of the same mind as most adults that it should stay out of the hands of children. That the
Right. I think a lot of that would be solved if there was better sex education. A lot of kids are just curious and they're looking to learn, but pornography is not educational material. It's not meant to be. It's meant to be entertaining.
Right.
So people are getting unrealistic ideas and false ideas because that's the only education that they have.
68% of church-going men and over 50% of pastors view porn on a regular basis. So all this is really not surprising to me. I think maybe to some people it would be, but I don't.
Well, I think that people really have an unrealistic idea of the type of people that are viewing porn. They, number one, pretty much everybody has seen it or like has looked at it at some point and probably looks at it on a regular basis. It's a sexual aid. It helps. I know myself, I've never had a real, I don't know, great imagination. I get, like, in terms of masturbation, I'll get distracted. I start, I'm trying to imagine something sexy and then I start worrying about, whatever is going on in my life. And it doesn't work for me. And it took me a long time. It took me years to figure it out. I was well into my teens, probably close to 18 before I was ever able to masturbate successfully. And what it took was porn. I needed some sort of visual aid to help. But I didn't know that. It never, occurred to me. Nobody talked about female masturbation. I had no way of knowing, but that's apparently what I needed. I couldn't just imagine, or I couldn't just read a sexy story. I needed something visual. It's a visual aid that helps with masturbation, or it helps with sex. Sometimes couples, they need something to get things going. That's just, the way it is. It helps. But also, I think something that people like to ignore is that there are people out there, because they're like, oh, why can't you just be with your partner? Well, guess what? Some people out there don't have the luxury of having a partner. There are people out there who are disabled, who have social issues, who have mental issues, who can't go out and get some money. And so, do you think that those people are just not deserving of intimacy? They just don't have sexual desires anymore? No. Chronically ill people, people who are confined to their beds, still have sexual desires, still want to feel desired, still want intimacy, still get lonely. And so you have to think about these people who need companionship, who maybe want to talk to a cam girl and have somebody tell them, they're obese, they have a facial deformity, but they have a girl that tells them they're so hot and they, think they're so sexy and they want them so badly. And for the first time, they're getting this feeling of feeling sexy. They deserve that just as much as anyone. I had a client who was autistic. He had a very bad speech impediment. So he could barely complete a sentence, let alone be talking to women. But he could talk to me every single day. And I could make him feel wanted, and I could make him feel good about himself, and I could make him happy. He deserves that. You have to think that not everyone is as privileged as you. And those people still deserve love and intimacy just like anybody else.
It's a very intriguing thought, because it's you always say to put yourself in somebody else's shoes, but it's very hard to do that. It's very, if you're successful, you got a bubbling personality, you're attractive. It's hard to do that, and putting yourself in those shoes, I probably don't do that too often in those cases.
Well, people would always say, they say, how can you justify being a sex worker and being Christian? And I'm like, well, I live my life with love. I live my, Jesus said, love everybody, live your life with love. I do. I spend my days loving people, showing people that they're loved, telling them that they're loved. I mean, that doesn't seem like the wrong path to me. That seems like exactly what I should be doing.
You ever go home at night and just go, what the hell am I doing? I mean, I do that myself.
Sure, everybody in any job has bad days. I have some days, and and I'm elated and I had a great day and I did something awesome that I was excited about, and then I have days where it didn't go well, or I didn't think I did well, or I just wasn't feeling it that day, blah. But that's going to happen in any job. And it's always funny to me that that's always like something people ask, because nobody's talking to construction workers, being like, what's the worst day on the job you've ever had? Or, people want to hear the bad stories about porn and sex work, but you just got to remind people everybody has bad days.
I want to get to here from Facebook, some people that had some genuine questions. This question comes from Matt. He's curious if you ever share the gospel with coworkers.
So I've never been really like an evangelical type, because some of my family were very, very much like that. Very in your face all the time, preaching to everybody, cashier at the grocery store, somebody on the bus, just in your face all the time. And it always put me off, and I knew it put other people off. And I knew I'd seen it drive people away. And so I never wanted to drive people away. And I just didn't think that was a good strategy kind of in modern times, to tell people that they were going to hell and that they're bad and, everything else. So I took more of a, I guess, Eastern approach, and I try to live my life well. And and it's no secret that I'm a Christian. My name has Reverend in it, and right. And I'm covered in religious tattoos. And so, a lot of the time people will just ask me about it, or, they'll bring up religion, and I'll talk to them about it, or, I'll tell them, well, I'm a Christian and this and this and this. And really my goal with everyone, coworkers or fans, anybody, is just to remind them that Jesus loves them and that he made them the way they are and he loves them how they are. And, you know, because people do, like you were talking about shame, so many people have this deep seated religious shame about their sexual feelings, masturbation, fetishes, the things that we all participate in. And so they think, oh, well, I masturbate, I can't go to church. God doesn't love me anymore. You're dirty. You had sex outside of marriage. You're dirty. You know, you can't go anymore, you know, or they feel like they can't go. They feel like they're too dirty to go to church. And I have to remind them, like, no, you're not too dirty. You know, Jesus still loves you. You can go if you want to go. If you want to have a relationship with Christ, you can totally have one. You know, don't let anybody shame you into thinking that you can't.
Well, I'm of the mind that I'm not going to change anybody's mind on anything. I'll let God do that. You know, if he says, "Come as you are, not as you should be," I'm going to let God do His work because I'm not God.
Yeah, and it's not up to me to judge anybody or tell them what they're doing is wrong. It's up to me to let them know that Jesus loves them and they could have a relationship with Christ if that's what they want.
A couple others here, real quick. Like, what is your end goal? I mean, you want to do porn the rest of your life, or is there something else that you want to do past what you do now?
I mean, I wouldn't mind being a producer when I stop being in front of the camera, you know, creating that ethical porn that I talk about. But you know, really my dream of dreams would just be to live in a big house and foster all the dogs, all the stray dogs in the world. That's my dream of dreams. Is I would just like to foster animals for the rest of my life.
No kids?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I had a lot of siblings growing up. I'm the oldest of like everybody. And so I feel like I spent most of my childhood raising babies, and so I'm ready to just, you know, chill with my husband and our animals and stuff.
Well, that's gonna be my next question. So you just segued right into it. So you are married.
Yeah. I have been with my husband for like 12 years.
Wow. Has he done film with you or
No, he works just like a regular boring job. He's an accountant.
pouring coffee?
Um
Okay, he's an accountant. Okay.
Yeah, so I had my high school sweetheart who I dated all of high school, and then I went to college and met my husband my freshman year of college. So, you know, and we've been together ever since.
Never any jealousy issues?
I mean, yeah, we've had jealousy issues, but we just work past it. You know, that's what you do in a marriage.
And so he does not, I guess, I'm guessing I'm thinking of what your response may be in advance, but I want to ask, so he doesn't feel that this is a form of cheating. I mean, because I guess you're pretty open about what you do.
Yeah, I'm open and honest, and he knows that, because cheating is if I were to hide it.
Mm-hmm.
If he said, hey, are you going out and shooting a film, and I'm like, no, I'm not, and then I do, that would make it cheating. But the fact that I'm like, hey, this is what I'm doing, this is who I'm doing it with, this is what I'm doing to be safe, you know, that that's what makes it ethical non-monogamy.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a few other questions here.
For sure.
What is your favorite hymn? Now, you did mention that you liked here recently. It was the Christmas "Fall on Your Knees," "Oh Holy Night."
Oh Holy Night. That's my favorite song of all time.
Okay.
I think it's like the most beautiful song ever written. Every time I listen to it, I'm just like, whew. Yeah. You know, it's powerful.
Really? You want to sing it with me?
No. I'm not much of a singer.
Oh, hear the angel voices.
I'll let Josh Groban stick to singing it. He does a much better job than I ever could.
You didn't say anything about my singing, though.
No, you were fantastic. I applaud you. You're much braver than I am.
Thank you. What's your favorite Bible verse?
Ooh, I'll have to look it up because I don't want to mess it up.
Don't say John 3:16.
Austin 3:16. I watch pro wrestling.
Oh, okay, good. I lost favor in pro wrestling after I don't know, the 80s. What's your favorite drink? Like beverage, alcohol, adult drink.
Death in the Afternoon. It was a drink invented by Ernest Hemingway. It's absinthe with champagne.
Absinthe. Can you even get that anymore?
Oh yeah.
Have a special order that stuff overseas or something? I don't know.
Nah,
Oh, it's
you
very
can get it at like the liquor store. But I also lived in New Orleans, so
okay.
it was easily accessible there.
I'm gonna plug. Stripper Dust. Do you like vanilla porters? You like beer at all?
I can't drink beer anymore because I am gluten intolerant, but I used to because I'm from Cincinnati. I used to drink beer with the
Oh,
best of them.
I thought this was appropriate to drink Stripper Dust. This is from Pappy Slocum, vanilla porter. If you like vanilla porters, you're gonna love this one. As you look up your favorite,
I know, of course. Like,
I mean, there's so many to choose from. They use smoke machines at your church, or they the traditional hymns, or they do the praise and worship.
it's the new worship, which I like. The church that I grew up in always had like the cool modern rock band worship team. So that's what I like. That's what that's what I get into.
Hillsong United Oceans is one of my favorite songs. What do you have a favorite song, a worship song? While you're looking that verse up,
I don't know if I have a favorite. One that's been in my head today is the Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I love to sing your praises.
yeah.
That's been in my head all day. But that's, back when I didn't have a church, that's kind of what I would do, especially like on Easter. I would just kind of sit by myself and listen to worship and like pretend like, I was in church. But I'm glad that I found a regular church again. That's made me really happy. Well, essentially, the one that I'm looking for, I can't find it, but it talks about how you shouldn't look out for your own interests. You should be looking out for the interests of others, and through serving others, like you have a better life. And that's kind of what I'm all about. I want to serve others. I want to help others. I always feel the call to live a life of service.
Hey, thank you so much for joining me today, Arielle. Is that correct? I'm gonna put you.
And feel free to cut out all of my like nonsense.
No, we're gonna highlight that. That's all we're gonna show. Our little
See, porn stars are stupid. I'll find it as soon as we sign off of here. I'm gonna find it and I'll send it to you.
Thank you. Yes, I will post that later. I will put your Twitter handle because I know. Look, there are people that ask me that they were like, "How do you do this interview without glorifying or condoning, her work?" And to that, I say, "How do you have an interview with anybody in the political arena without fully condoning them or I mean, you just do it
or condemning
or condemning." And that's part of journalism. That's part of hey, let's try to be as unbiased as we can. I mean, we've all got bias to some extent. We can't get away from it. But
well, and you wouldn't have gotten anywhere if you started this off with you're bad, you're the worst. It would that would completely end the discussion. So yeah, I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Bless you. Lord keep you and be in your mercy. I pray that his heart be for you and towards you and reveal himself to you and that you would just find abundant life through him. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Arielle. Take care.